Please raise your hands if you have questions for Coach. Jackie Powell.
Hey, Walt. I'm just curious as to what you thought the fourth quarter struggles were a function of. Was it letting go of defensive principles, or was it a stagnant play on offense?
Yeah, I think Sammy said it best in one of the timeouts that, one of our tendencies this year has been that when we're not scoring, we also stop playing defense. I thought that we lost a little bit of confidence. I think that this team, they'll really fly. They'll really be hard to guard for long stretches. And then in some of these tight moments, it looks to me like they're more worried about making mistakes than they are about continuing to be aggressive and confident. And I think that, that's something that we talk a lot about and that we're going to keep working on. And, there's no substitute for experience and going through these situations. But yeah, I mean, I think that there were some definite defensive lapses on people rejecting in switches. I think that a few of the players were frustrated with themselves for some of the defensive breakdowns. Just talking to them just now in the locker room. So, it's frustrating to be a broken record and to keep saying that, there's growth and that there's a lot of good, but man, there was a lot of good. And, this stuff does pay off. It just unfortunately takes time, and we didn't have we didn't have it go our way tonight.
Right. And so in the first half, Sammy found a way to make some shots. I'm curious as to, was there a reason in the second half why she maybe didn't get as many touches?
It was just the types of things that we were seeing out there on the court to try to put other people in a position. I mean, Sammy was 4 of 8, but Tosh was 8 of 14. B was 7 of 13. I mean, there's a lot of people getting what they wanted. It certainly wasn't something where we went away from her or go away from anybody. It's really a case of they might have made a switch at a given time in terms of a defensive assignment, and we tried to attack a different one. I agree that I would have loved for Sammy to get more shots, but that's just kind of the way sometimes.
Okay. Thanks so much, Coach. I appreciate it.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hi, Walt. This was maybe the best all-around game for the combination of Sabrina, Natasha, and Benaja, that trio. When you're talking about big picture, which I know is difficult in the moment, how important is seeing that for the future of the team, knowing that you're building around those three primarily?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that the whole group, really, everyone had moments. I thought Michaela had some really great moments coming off the bench, and she took on her I think it's her first bench start of the year, really well. She took it like a pro, came out and worked her butt off and did a lot of good things. But yeah, that trio was solid with a ton of room to continue to grow, and then they all know it. They're all in there frustrated. Nobody's satisfied with what they did, but I'm urging them to continue to celebrate the growth and all the corners that they're turning. There was a point in this season where we would have lost this game by a lot more than that, and not even been in a position to win it or get up 13, in the third. And this is 3 games in a row now, I think, where we've really done so many good things and struggled to close it out. And that is, I would imagine, if we were to dig into the archives, something that I probably talked about last year with a young team and talked about this year, that all the teams I've been with as an assistant coach, now as a head coach, and teams that I've played on, the end of the game is where, we need the experience. I thought we got a good look at the end there. We just didn't get it to go our way.
And then my second question is, after hitting 6 of 10 in the first half, Benaja took just 3 shots after the break, including just 1 in the fourth quarter. What changed at halftime, either with their defense or in terms of what you guys were trying to focus on offense? Because you were very successful scoring in the paint today.
Yeah, I think Benaja was finding other people. I mean, she had 6 or 7 assists, I'm pretty sure. So I think sometimes, she's one of the best players on the team, if not the best, at just keeping the ball moving. And so sometimes she has to she doesn't get to reap the benefits of being the primary ball mover on the team, but she's our best driving kick player. And I think that she probably was seeing opportunities to create for her teammates. And, she came out really aggressive looking for a shot. And then I think in the second half, she came out aggressive trying to create for other people. And I thought she did a really good job of that.
Thanks. And just one more for me. This was the first rough shooting night for Beck Allen. In a start, like you said, this was Michaela's first game coming off the bench. How do you see that game? Is it a confidence comfort thing? Because I know she's been in the lineup for the starting five for the last couple of games, but this is, the other with Sammy returning, it's kind of like the original starting five that she's breaking into. Or is it just, finding her way, or just not a night where shots fell?
Yeah, I just honestly, I understand why we would, we always want to look for reasons and tangible ways that we can fix things. Sometimes you just miss shots. And I thought Beck mostly got really good shots and shots that she normally makes, and they just didn't go in, and that's why the best 3-point shooters shoot, 42, 43%. And she has nights where she goes 5 of 7. She has nights where she goes 1 of 6. And no, I was actually was really happy with Beck. I think that she's, in particular, has grown a lot in terms of her response to frustrating moments and things like that. She's really answered the call, as this whole team has.
And she did a great job on Enrique as well, who was just 5 of 21. Thank you very much, Coach.
You got it. Thanks.
Last question, Jeff Magliochetti.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for joining us as well. To bounce off what you were telling Miles there, keeping Beck into the quote unquote original starting five, was that more of a matchup issue for Michaela perhaps, or did you want to reward Beck? How did basically the decision to keep Beck in the starting five come to be?
No, it was more a case of really wanting to space the floor as much as possible. And Michaela's a good shooter. Beck is an elite shooter. And so we wanted to see, with the way she's been defending, she's so switchable, and she's guarding guards extremely well, as Miles just said with Enrique. And, she does a really good job against the bigs too. And she rebounds. And, it's really a luxury to be able to put somebody in here who basically is doing a lot of the things that Michaela does, but in addition, can also really knock down the three at the high clip. And so we wanted to give that lineup a shot. And I wouldn't hesitate to give that lineup another shot. I thought that they did a lot of good things.
Thank you. And the other question I had, we've seen it, you've said it, there's so many positives to glean from this post-Olympic slate. It's just unfortunate that it doesn't show up in the win-loss column. So how do you help the players keep their heads up in this situation? What's your message to the team, and how do you keep them enthused as they continue to, remain in this playoff picture?
Yeah, it's always a challenge. Losing is a challenge, and this group has played well enough, I think, in a few of these games that they could have won. And they one of the things we talk about afterward, we've talked about in the last few nights, and about this one too, is that everyone is frustrated. Everyone wants to win. It's very clear how badly this group wants to win. The important part is seeing the long game, and that's a really challenging thing to do in these moments. I think it was Miles who just said something along those lines, but it's something we talk about a lot, is seeing the big picture and understanding, look at the strides Sabrina's made. I mean, my goodness, Sammy does so many good things now that, she didn't used to do. Tosh is settling in. She's taking more of the shots that she's really good at. She's making adjustments. Benijah continues to be so solid for us. Beck turns corners. I mean, everyone is getting better. The team is getting better as a unit, and the individuals are getting better. So at the end of the day, of course we want to win, but the only way that you get to the point that you really want to be is for everybody individually and collectively to continue to improve. And so, our mind is on that every single day in practice, continuing to keep the vibe that this team has had, and to support one another, and to understand that everybody's frustrated, and that, it's you still have to give to your teammates. You still have to give, as coaches, we have to give to the players and give to each other. So that's the message. The message is to stay together and to stay the course and understand that it's about progress and not perfection.
Appreciate that, Coach. Safe travels home.
Jackie Powell.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just curious what you all thought the fourth quarter struggles were a function of. Was it letting go of some defensive principles that you had executed earlier throughout the game, or was it a function of more stagnant play on offense?
I think it was just, the defense kind of led to the offense. I mean, the offense led to the defense, executing and scoring, and then it calls for us to, break down a little on defense.
Great, I appreciate that. You all scored a ton of points in the paint, which isn't always the case with y'all. And so I'm wondering, was that a result of missing some outside looks earlier, or was it just the reads that you were all making, and was trying to score in the paint part of the game plan?
I mean, yeah, it was just, some of the reads and stuff that we were making, that's what they were giving us, so that's what we were taking.
Right. And the final one for me, how do you give to each other after a loss like this?
Just continue to stick together. It's unfortunate that we haven't been able to get the results that we want, but that doesn't mean that we need to separate and break down. We just got to keep fighting and stay together.
Thank you. Thank you, Benaja. I appreciate it.
Miles Ehrlich.
Hi, Benaja, you were just talking about making adjustments, and that led to so many of the points in the paint. In that first quarter, the team shot just 1 of 9 from 3, and then starting in that second and bridging into the third, that was when you really started to attack the paint as a team. There have been times this season where those adjustments don't come that quickly in game. So if you're looking bigger picture, how proud of the team can you be for making those adjustments on the fly and really changing the game plan up like that?
I mean, it's been good, that we're able to see progress, even though we haven't been getting the results that we want. Progress is progress. So we just got to keep taking the steps in the right direction, making sure that we're, accepting the positives and trying to fix the negatives.
Thank you. And coming out of the halftime break, you were, as a team, were immediately able to take momentum off of the play of Sammy Whitcomb. She hit a pair of threes, had a 50-50 block charge, and got into a passing lane to force a turnover. How much of a lift is it on both sides of the ball, having Sammy back out there and battling for these last few games? For anybody, sorry.
It's been really good that she's able to, to come back from injury and have the impact that she's having. So we just, hope that she continues to stay healthy and is able to give us, everything that she's given us on both ends of the floor.
Thank you all so much.
Jeff Magliochetti.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. So this question is for anyone who is comfortable with answering it. There's still a prime opportunity on the line over the next week, 2 big games remaining. So what gives you guys the advantage that you can take advantage of this opportunity? What gives you the faith that you can, muster some more positives and potentially some wins in that win column before all is said and done?
I think, like I just mentioned, we've had progress. So if we keep that, going into these games and we just tweak the things that have been holding us back, and we really focus in and make that adjustment, and so that we're not having the same things happen over and over again, I think that the progress and the attention to detail that we've been making these past few games will hopefully show up and give us the results that we want.
How do you keep from getting frustrated? Because there have been undoubtedly positive signs from this team in the post-Olympic break. The results, unfortunately, don't show up in the win-loss column, but there have been undoubtedly positive signs from this team. There is camaraderie, there is unity, there are signs of improvement here. So how do you keep yourselves from getting frustrated when the results don't show up on the scoreboard?
I think to just try as much as we can to think next play, next possession, next game, not really dwelling on it, but learning from it. And if we continue to do that, like I said, you know, the progress is there, everyone sees it. We see it, we know it, but we just got to get over the hump of, you know, just the little things that have just been holding us back.
In your opinion, what are those things that hold you back?
You know, it can be something as simple as a missed box out, or, you know, anything like that. And so once we, you know, really focus in and, you know, are able to control those things, we'll be in good shape. We just have to marry that with the progress that we've been making.
Appreciate that. Thank you for your time and insight as always. Safe travels home.
Thank you all for joining. We will send the post-game notes and reporting shortly. Thank you.